Hello trader, welcome to another weekly Forex forecast from Forex Trading Wizard Academy. As coming up NFP, and this week is quite important, as you know that NFP data coming up, and during the NFP we can expect increased volatility in the market. So this is a short list of DXY, Euro Dollar, GBPUSD, Dollar Yen, GBPJPY, AUDUSD, Dollar CAD, NZDUSD, and XAUUSD. These are the instruments that currently in this weekly Forex forecast we will be discussing to see how we can find entry opportunity throughout the week. Now before this weekly Forex forecast, traders, make sure that you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So without further delay, let's get started, starting with DXY. Okay, data. So first let's begin with DXY. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this instrument. Now starting with the monthly chart to see overall picture in this market on DXY, and from the monthly we can see that after back-to-back 3 months of bullish move, fourth month DXY has formed a doji. Now this monthly doji is quite important, as we can see it closed as a doji, and this month what I think that we might see potentially further bounce, as it is a very strongly bull market. With this doji, it in fact form a pullback candle, expecting for the market to bounce back up again to create a new higher high. Dropping down to the weekly chart to see how the market is evolving, we can see that from the weekly perspective, DXY has formed also long-term bullish market structure, starting from here an impulse correction, another impulse correction, another impulse deeper correction. And what we can see that the previous week the candle closed, which is basically a pullback to the upside after this drop. And what we can see the trend continuation pattern here, if we closely look at below this weekly candle, there is a high liquidity. We have seen back-to-back 2 weeks of drop. The market has grabbed the liquidity, and last week we saw a candle close with a bullish impulse. So this week what we can expect for the market, what I think that we could see either gap open or initial pullback and potentially trend continuation to the upside, as it is still maintaining a bullish market structure. Now if we look at the daily chart, we can see that a little broken picture here. We can see it's a strongly uptrending market structure. There is an impulse correction, another impulse deeper correction. The market is forming series of higher high and higher low, which is in a very strong uptrending market structure. Now here is, we can see from the daily perspective, it formed an inverted head and shoulder, and from that inverted head and shoulder, DXY has formed this bullish market structure. Now looking at the 4-hour chart on DXY, we can see that in this lower time frame it's a bull market. There was a gap open here, and with that gap open the market is forming series of higher low. Therefore what we can see as this market forms series of higher low, expecting DXY to come for deeper pullback and then to continue to rise to the upside, as it is still maintaining a bullish market structure. And we have seen that there was a pattern here that when the market was reversing from that level, which is a very important liquidity zone, and I think that DXY after initial pullback we could see potentially breaking that high, and what I think that it may continue to rise after a pullback to create a new higher high. So we can expect DXY potentially to remain bullish, as long-term trend is up. We have seen gap open, liquidity grab, expecting continuation to the upside. Now with that being said, let's look at now Euro Dollar, and Euro Dollar as just mirror of DXY, expecting also significant trend in this instrument. So first of all, let's quickly look at the monthly chart to see again overall picture. Now from the monthly, we can see that from this level here there is a strong drop on the monthly on Euro Dollar, and after back-to-back 3 months of drop, on the 4th month we can see that Euro Dollar has formed a doji. Now this doji is quite significant, as we can see the market from this doji where the market is open, which is almost neutral movement almost equal week on both sides on euro dollar, expecting for the market to potentially drop here to create a new lower low. Looking at the weekly perspective on euro dollar, we can see that from the weekly also this is in a downtrend. Starting from here, a big drop followed by this pullback, and we can see that another drop followed by deeper pullback. Now previous week we saw that after break of this high, the candle closed as a bearish engulfer, and with that bearish candle the market has crossed this previous weekly high, grab that liquidity and form this bearish candle, expecting euro USD after initial pullback to continue to drop to create a new lower low. Now looking at the daily chart on euro USD, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the daily price action, where from this level there was a big drop followed by pullback, and we can see another drop followed by deeper pullback. And this is a very strongly downtrending market. In the downtrending market, we have seen from the daily a bounce to the upside. With that bounce, the price in fact bounced back up, grabbed the liquidity, and with the liquidity grab, the price managed to break below with a stronger momentum. Now previous daily candle is a very strong liquidity candle with a daily bearish engulfer. Now today's candle also, last day of trading week, we saw closed as a red bearish candle, expecting euro dollar for the market to bounce, grab liquidity, and then to continue to drop to create a new lower low. Now from the intraday perspective, from 4-hour time frame, we can see a head and shoulder formation here. Now this head and shoulder is very strongly bearish market here on euro dollar, and with that head and shoulder formation, we can expect for the market to continue to drop here. As for our perspective, what we can expect in this instrument, for the market to move up for a pullback and then potentially to drop to the liquidity zone, or potentially continue to the downtrending market structure. So euro dollar as mirror of DXY, we can expect for the market to continue to drop. Now looking at British pound US dollar, to see what kind of trading opportunity we have, looking at the monthly chart on GBPUSD, we can see that from the monthly perspective, this is a bearish market. Starting from here, we can see a big drop here, followed by a bearish candle, followed by another bearish candle. Last month we have seen a candle formation where there is a long wick at the bottom, expecting for this market to drop again to fill that at least 50% of that monthly long wick, or even further downside, expecting downward pressure on euro British pound US dollar. Now looking at the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly perspective as well, this is a bear market. Starting from this level here, there is a big drop followed by this pullback, and with that pullback we can see that there is a weekly bearish engulfer, which is in fact a very strong bearish price action from this level, and with the drop followed by this pullback here. And British pound US dollar, currently we can see that in a downtrend, and as last week we have seen a bearish price action, expecting GBPUSD initially bounce and then to continue to drop to the major direction of the trend. Now looking at the daily chart on GBPUSD, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is a downtrending market structure on GBPUSD. The market is forming series of lower high, and with that series of lower high formation on GBPUSD, previous daily candle is in fact a bearish engulfer here, followed by, we can see that another bearish candle on GBPUSD. And what we can see here from the daily perspective, as the market trend is down, what I think that GBPUSD may continue to drop to create a new lower low. Now from the 4-hour perspective on GBPUSD, we can see that there is a head and shoulder here, and with that head and shoulder on GBPUSD, expecting for this market to continue to drop, as this is an important level of support here, and we can expect for the market to continue to drop to create a new lower low. Let's look at AUDUSD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this instrument. Looking at the monthly chart to see overall picture in the market. Now from the monthly, we can see that AUDUSD is bearish from this resistance line, big drop here, followed by, this is the monthly price action so far, a narrow doji formation on the monthly, and with that narrow doji, expecting AUDUSD to continue to drop to create a new lower low. If we look at the weekly perspective on AUDUSD, we can see that it's a bear market starting from here, big drop followed by this pullback, another drop, pullback, and followed by, we can see that here there is a deeper pullback on AUDUSD, and with the deeper pullback the market grabbed that massive liquidity, followed by, we can see that weekly bearish candle here, which is strongly rejection from the top. And what I think that with the market open, we might see initial pullback and then to continue to drop. Now looking at the daily chart on AUDUSD, we can see that from the daily, this is the head, left shoulder and the right shoulder. We have seen that initial break of structure followed by a head and shoulder formation, and then we can expect for the market to continue to trend. From the 4-hour perspective on AUDUSD, we can see that after this initial bounce, which is a strong liquidity grab, AUDUSD has managed to break below, and with that break, expecting AUDUSD to continue to drop. As soon as we will find suitable entry, we will be looking for going short with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at dollar CAD. As we can see that expecting DXY to be potentially bullish. From the monthly, we can see the dollar CAD is strongly in a bull market, and with that bull market on dollar CAD, this is the monthly price action, expecting for this market to continue to rise. As there is a resistance here, we could see that dollar CAD is moving up and then bouncing back to create a new higher high. Looking at the weekly chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the weekly, it's a bull market starting from this impulse followed by this correction, another impulse, deeper correction. The market in a very strong bullish impulse. After the previous weekly rejection to the downside, dollar CAD managed to break out, and we could see that potential trend continuation in this instrument. Now looking at the daily chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the daily, this is the daily price action where the market broken below, followed by a strong rejection with a very strong pin bar here on dollar CAD. And what I think that after initial pullback, we could see that dollar CAD is continuing to the upside to create a new higher high. Now from the 4-hour perspective on dollar CAD, we can see that this is a bull market here with this impulse, and then we can see again corrected to the support level, another impulse corrected to the support level. The market is in fact in a strong bull market. We can see there is a 4-hour bullish engulfer, expecting after this initial pullback continue to rise to the upside. So this is where we could find potential entry opportunity on dollar CAD for this potential move to the upside. NZDUSD, we can see that there was a also strong rejection. If we look at the monthly, we can see after back-to-back 3 months of bearish move on NZDUSD from the monthly, the market here, this is the monthly price action where there is a monthly doji formation. We could see that the price after initial pullback to continue to drop again to create a new lower low. Now looking at the weekly chart on NZDUSD, we can see that from the weekly perspective, this is the weekly impulse followed by this correction, another drop, deeper correction, and the market forming series of lower high and lower low on NZDUSD. Now previous week we saw a very narrow rejection here, expecting NZDUSD to move up for a deeper pullback and then to continue to drop again to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the daily chart on NZDUSD, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the head, left shoulder and the right shoulder, and this is the daily bearish engulfer, bearish pin bar on NZDUSD, expecting for the market to pull back and then to continue to trend to the downside. Now from the 4-hour perspective on NZDUSD, we can see that there is a initial bounce, and that in fact a strong liquidity grab followed by a 4-hour bearish engulfer, expecting NZDUSD to move up for initial pullback and then to continue to drop to create a new lower low. So this is where we might find potential entry opportunity on NZDUSD with the market open. Now let's look at XAUUSD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have on gold for the upcoming week. Looking at the monthly chart again to see overall picture in this market. Now from the monthly, we can see that gold is in a long-term bullish market. Starting from here, there is a very strong impulse followed by this correction, and we can see that there is another impulse followed by correction here. Now this is the monthly candle just has closed with a strong bullish engulfer here on the monthly, and we can see that from the monthly gold forming series of higher low here with this monthly strong impulse on XAUUSD. But I think that it may have started a new uptrending market structure. Now if we look at the weekly chart on XAUUSD, we can see that from the weekly it is a bullish market. We can see an impulse followed by narrow correction, and we can see another impulse, deeper correction. The market is forming series of higher high and higher low, which is a typical uptrending market structure, followed by this doji here. We have seen a break of structure, a very strong drop here on the monthly, on the weekly on XAUUSD, and we can see after that creating series of higher low and potentially moving back up to create a new higher high. Now dropping down to the daily chart, we can see that daily bullish uptrend, an impulse followed by this correction, and we can see another impulse, deeper correction. The market is forming series of higher high and higher low, which is an uptrending market. Now this is where we can see a daily bearish candle maintaining series of higher low here. So this is the daily price action where an important support level, the market has broken below and then grabbed liquidity and then potentially bouncing back to the upside. Now looking at the 4-hour chart on XAUUSD, we can see that it's a very strong uptrend. And what I think that, as we can see last session of the trading week, there is a breakdown here. That breakdown might lead that price again to drop further. We may see a potential break of structure here, as it has got a rejection. We may see deeper pullback, and daily we can see there is a daily doji here. But I think that with the market open, we may see initial drop and then potentially bouncing back up to fill that daily long wick here. So with that in mind, on the lower time frame, we could see that XAUUSD is breaking below for a deeper pullback or retest of this neckline, and then potentially continuing to the uptrend as with the new monthly open, expecting deeper pullback and then potential trend continuation. So based on that, we will be looking for trading opportunity throughout the week on XAUUSD. Now let's look at yen pair. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have. Now looking at the monthly chart on GBPJPY, we can see that from the monthly, this is the monthly price action creating series of lower high, and we can see that there is a monthly red candle here on GBPJPY, expecting for the market to come up for a pullback and then to continue to drop again, as it is a long-term bear market. Looking at the weekly chart on GBPJPY, we can see that with this double top formation, GJ from the weekly, there is a big drop here followed by this pullback, and we can see that the market in fact again coming down here to create a new lower low from the weekly, expecting for the market to drop again. Now if we look at the daily chart on GBPJPY, we can see that from the daily perspective here, the market is forming series of lower high. And what we can see here from the daily, this is the daily price action where there is a long wick at the top, expecting after initial pullback for the market to continue to the downside to create a new lower low. So looking at the 4-hour perspective on GBPJPY, we can see that the market forming series of lower high here on GJ, and as it is a bear market, expecting GJ for initial pullback and then to continue to drop to create a new lower low. Now let's look at dollar yen. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this instrument. Now dollar yen, looking at the monthly chart to see overall picture in the market. Now from the monthly, we can see that previous months was very narrow volatile market. We have seen a narrow red candle formation on dollar yen, and as the monthly candle closed, we can see the price is still maintaining series of higher low. Therefore, what I think that initially we could see a potential bounce, and that could lead the price to go back to the resistance. Later we might see deeper pullback. If we look at the weekly chart to see how the market is doing, we can see that from the weekly perspective, this is the weekly long wick candle, back-to-back 3 weeks of drop with a long wick at the bottom to the weekly 20 EMA form a doji. And what I think that initially we might see potential bounce here, As we can see, the market is forming series of lower high. There is a liquidity zone here. We could see that initial bounce and potential coming down for a weak fill on dollar yen. Dropping down to the daily chart to see how the market is doing. Now from the daily perspective here, we can see that this is the daily price action where there is a daily bullish engulfer. The market is forming series of higher low here on the daily, and as the market managed to bounce from this bull flag on the daily perspective, expecting dollar yen after a pullback to go up again to fill that long wick at the top. Now from the intraday perspective, we can see that after this consolidation series of lower high formation, the market has formed a reversal pattern here. With the reversal pattern formation, the price has bounced back up, followed by a couple of dodgy formation. This is the intraday 4-hour bullish move, as it is still in a downtrend. What I think the dollar yen with the market open, we might see initial drop and potentially continuing to the upside. This could be the wave for the upcoming week on dollar yen. So based on the price action confirmation, we'll be looking for trading opportunity in this instrument. Traders, hope that you enjoyed this weekly forex forecast. If you enjoyed, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So with that said, thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.